Thank you, Jim. When you left Gethsemane after being abused at the monastery, and you left the Christian faith, and you found refuge in Buddhism, and you say that Buddhism brought you back to Christianity, could you share more about that, please?
Yeah, when I was at the monastery and I was sexually abused, it was my confessor, my priest, and I had a breakdown. I left. And I would still go to Mass with my mother. I moved back home. And I would sit at Mass. But I thought to myself, I don't see how God can buy into an outfit like this. Really. It seems so hierarchical and so hypocritical, and so I just couldn't see it. But I found refuge in the Dharma. See? And I got married, and I was still like this. My children are small, and I would get up early in the morning, and we lived in a trailer, a mobile home at the time, and I would sit on the floor and light a candle, and I would read koans, and I would do zazen this way. And then what I did is I started reading Thomas Merton out loud in the same way that I read the koans this way. And what I found is I found my way through Thomas Merton back into mystical Catholicism. I found my way into this mystical lineage this way. And that's how it was for me. And I brought my Buddhism with me. You know what I mean? And so that's what it was like for me, really, yeah.
Beautiful, thank you.
A follow-up, I guess, is I'm one of those dignified Anglicans who has dignified naughty thoughts. I'm an Episcopal priest, and I work in a parish. I'm a parish priest, and I'm wondering about how to bring some of this deep understanding of the contemplative life, which feels deeply beautiful, but also focused on the individual and our individual relationship with the divine, and how that might show up within the institutional setting in a way that feels...
Yes. I'll show you a story. Well, my brother right under me, I'm the oldest of 6. My brother right under me lives Catholic, he lives in Phoenix. And he was at midnight Mass in Phoenix. The church was crowded. And there was a retired pastor there, a white-haired, elderly, saintly old priest, giving the homily. And the priest said a mother came to him and said that her children were role-playing the birth of Jesus at Bethlehem. So they got a shoebox and she put one of her the little girl put her little doll in the shoebox. And the mother made a kind of a stable out of a big cardboard box. Like that. And they put towels over their head like this. They were kneeling there looking at the baby Jesus, and they were singing real, real low. And the priest told the whole crowded church, she tiptoed real close to hear what they were singing, and they were singing, "For he's a jolly good fellow." And the priest went like this, and the whole church started singing along with the priest, and my brother started crying, see? And here's the thing, really, you can always tell, I think, when the person's giving the homily, and they're speaking from their heart. They're speaking from their heart. And each unto each, it touches hearts. And then sensitivity to everyone in the community. You incarnate that. This is a place where we learn to love and belong to each other. And that's how I think that's the spirituality of ministry, I think. Does that? I think that's it, really, yeah.
Yeah, Jim, over here.
Where?
Over here towards the ocean.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I've talked to some people, and it's been my experience as the fire catches this mystical experience, there can be loneliness, and also, like I've even spoken to some here, where they're really not known as mystical, and there's just a it's hard to find tribe, I guess I'm saying, and how important spiritual friendship is in this journey. I really like how Mirabai and others model about bringing people together so that we can be nourished by the Sangha. So anything along that line would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I got the gist of it. Here, let me put it another way. I think the more authentically grounded we are in the mystical, the more true it is that everyone who approaches us in the encounter is itself the divinity itself, just being who they are this way. See, it isn't like this. I want you all to realize that I'm a profoundly awakened mystic. And if you try very, very hard, you may someday approach the depth that I've acquired. You probably won't. But your sincere effort is admirable this way. I mean, seriously. I mean, right. See, and that's why it's so important. I forgot my notes today, because it levels the playing field about the holiness of the ordinariness of ourselves. And that's the unraveling of the encounter of each, the preciousness of each person being who they are, walking their walk, and the holiness of it all this way. Anything else I can't answer?
Jim, so you may have known Anthony DeMilo. I mean, I've just read. And I had a profound experience when I read where he said that my last obstacle to union with God, I was very interested in what that obstacle was. And he said it was my concept of God. So I had to let go in meditation my belief in God, to let whatever it was come in. And then when I come out and I come to places like this, we talk about God as rational and logical, in rational and logical terms. And I come away thinking that's a concept. And I have to abandon that. So my question is God rational and logical?